All right, so simple interest. You just learned about this yesterday, so we'll make this pretty quick. So if you remember, the formula for simple interest is simple interest equals the principal amount times the annual interest rate times the amount of time. So P times R times T. It's just multiplication. And remember, the annual percent rate is or annual interest rate will always be a decimal. And then some of you had a good question yesterday that what if the percentage is in a decimal format already? What if the decimal is 2.5%? You still need to change it into, you still got to move that decimal over 2 places to the left because that's still a percent. We have to turn that percent into what the decimal format would be. So even though it's still a decimal, or it's already a decimal, you still got to move that decimal over 2 places to the left. Okay, so in this case, let's see, an account of $350 earns 3% annual interest per year. After 10 years, what will be the interest earned? How much will be in the account? Okay, so an account of $350 earns 3% annual interest per year. After 10 years, we need to figure out what will the interest be earned. Okay, so we found our principal, we found our annual interest rate, and we found our time. Okay, so 350 times 3%, but we're not going to leave it at 3%. It's going to be a decimal. So if we move the decimal over 2 places to the left, it's going to be 0 and 3/100ths. Okay, multiply that by the time, which is 10 years. Okay, so let's start off with multiplying 350 times 0 and 3/100ths. So 0 times 3 is 0, 5 times 3 is 15, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. And I'm not going to even bother with the multiplying it by 0 because it will just add up. We're just going to have to add a bunch of zeros and it's not going to change it. So we don't need to multiply that 0. So we are left with 1050, but we need to put the decimal in because we're multiplying with decimals. So how many numbers are behind that decimal? 2. So we got to count off 1, 2. So we're going to count off 1, 2 here. So we have $10.50. So that's our interest earned. Interest earned, $10.50. Okay. Now we need to know how much will be in the account after the 10 years. Okay, so how much will be in the account after 10 years if you don't touch the account and it is after 10 years. So we need to take this amount and we need to add it to 350. So 350 plus 1050 oh wait, hold on, hold up. Okay, I just made a mistake. Okay, and I'm pretty sure most of you caught that too. Okay, so we can't move on to this yet because we have 1050 here. This is not the interest earned because what do we have to do? And I know that some of you are doing this too, and I made the same mistake as well. You need to, so we multiplied this, so now we got to multiply it by the amount of time. I'm so sorry. So it's 1050 times 10. Just goes to show you that teachers can also make mistakes too, but it also is, that's a learning moment. It's for you to understand that you can't just move on and rush over to the next part. You gotta go through this entire formula. Okay, so 1050 times 10. 0, 0. I was like, that's a really low number. Okay, then we gotta put our placeholder. 0 times 1 is 0, 5 times 1 is 5, 0, 1. And then if you add it all up, it's 10,500, but we got to put our decimals, which will make it $105. So the interest earned is $105. Whew, there we go. Okay, now we can add 350 to 105. 5 plus 0 is 5. 5 plus 0 again is 5. And 3 plus 1 is 455. Okay, so that's the amount you'll have in account with interest after 10 years. Okay, so remember, so learn from my mistake. you need to multiply the principal times the annual interest rate, then you got to multiply the time. So then you'll get your interest earned, then you'll add it to the original amount in the account, or the original amount, and then that's how you figure out how much will be in the account. Okay, so now move on to the try this. Once you finish to try this, I'll be walking around and I'll be stamping off the paper. Then you can move on to the next activity.